What's going on, YouTube? Today I want to talk about Microtech and their Ram-Lok. Specifically, I have an MSI here, which I think, what is that? MSI standard, Microtech standard issue. And then I have their Ram-Lok stitch. And I've carried both of these quite a bit in fact. I'm going to give you my opinions on them. So let's go. Overview. As far as like the Ram-Lok, I like it. I don't have a lot of room here. It's easy to flip open. It's easy to flip shut. You know, it works well. It locks open. It's solid. I don't have any issues with it. And it works great on both of them. And they're both equally. Let's see if I can flip it open, flip it shut. Ram-Lok works great. MSI, I've carried that on, you know, of course it's open packages and, you know, boxes and cut plastic off stuff and cut shoestrings. But, you know, I was carrying this when we went on vacation in Wisconsin, and my kids had a tendency to, my youngest had a tendency to lock the door. And I liked that this kind of has this sheep's foot blade, and I could very easily stick this in the lock in the bathroom, or that goes to the bathroom, and unlock it, because my youngest had a tendency to lock the door and then not understand how to unlock the door. So I found that very useful. This just happens to be one of the sharpest knives that's ever come to my door, out of the box. Man, it's sharp. And it's just overall, you know, when I pull this out, when I pull this knife out and use it, people don't look at me like I'm, you know, a barbarian. That's one thing the MSI has going over the stitch. When you pull this out, you know, it's a functional knife, but people kind of look at it, you're like, you know, I don't know. It's a lot of knife. I don't know. It's like wearing a suit or going and wearing a purple velour suit. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a purple velour suit, but it's gonna stand out. I've used this one, so just to talk about, we were working on our bathroom, and I used this to pry off some after I took the screws out, some of the caulk, and I used this to trim up the caulk. It was plenty sharp, and it got right close to the tub. We went from like hard doors to a shower curtain. It was bronze or brass from the 80s or 90s. It looked horrid. But we went hiking that afternoon, and I used this to, you know, cut down a little sapling to make my kid a walking stick, and trimmed up the little nubbins, and it worked great. Plenty sharp. I came home, I stropped it, cleaned it, and stropped it, and it's right back to being sharp. So I would say I really enjoy carrying both the MSI and the stitch, but you know, there's just something about pulling out the stitch. It you know, it's fun. When I pull it out in front of my friends, I feel like, hey, wait, I'm probably gonna get a reaction. They'll be like, holy cow, what are you carrying? You know, but it's a great knife. You know, it's just flashy to me. It's I don't know. Is pretentious the right word? I don't know. It's just it's a flashy knife. It's got a lot of steel up here. I mean, it looks like you could stab through armor, but you know, I'm using it to open birthday presents at a party. You know, it's just a little bit too much. Functional, yes. Lock works, great. Do I love the knife? Absolutely. But it's just a lot of knife. The MSI, I can use this, and it doesn't look like such a big flashy thing, and I think it is functional, more functional, you know, at least for the family life, with the kids. you know, this blunter nose on this sheep foot, definitely, I feel like if I need to pry on something a little bit, this isn't gonna damage it. I don't ever recommend prying with your knives, but what I'm saying, you know, is if I got to get a little thing up a little bit, get a Lego apart, I not gonna worry about prying with this thing. So there's my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed them. Like I said, you can't go wrong with either of these knives. They both are functional. They work great. I mean, they sharp, keep an edge. I find absolutely nothing wrong with these knives, but the difference being is that, you know, feels like more of your workhorse, and, you know, this is more of your, I don't even know, this is more of your diesel that got factory tires and pulls the trailer all day long. This is the one that has the tires that stick out the side and definitely is jacked up, and they probably have an 8-inch can sticking out the rear. And every time they put it down, it blows smoke. That's this knife. So, and don't get me wrong, this truck or this knife can also do work, but this one is just a little more standard, traditional, not going to raise a lot of eyebrows. So, but it's definitely a great knife. Both of them are. I love them both. I love carrying them both. I go back and forth between the two of them. So, thanks everybody. Have a great day.